the Lakers begin their season on Thursday. So how's the King spending his downtime until the opener? By joining Drake and Travis Scott on stage at the Staples Center, going sicko mode.
So LeBron and Drake, they debuted, LeBron and Maverick Carter debuted episode 2 of The Shop this past weekend, the night before this concert, which has a sit-down interview with Drake in it, where Drake spills all the tea about what happened with Kanye and Pusha T and the whole beef. And then LeBron paid Drake back for coming on his show by going to his concert. A little preseason warm-up for you. Keep folks up to date on what's going on in the popular culture. I know you were traveling this weekend, celebrating a family birthday, so I want to make sure.
No, I mean, I watched sports and everything. Yeah, it wasn't like you gave me some news. Like.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew that, Nick.
Oh, okay. You were up on the Kanye Pusha T.
Obviously, he pushed T, and T pushed him back.
Oh,
so.
Man.
Kanye need to put some pills in his mouth with some water.
There you go. Time for some stories to start your morning. Jets won their second game in a row yesterday behind a great performance from Sam Darnold, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns in a 42-34 win over the Colts. Nick Wright, how impressed were you with the rookie quarterback yesterday?
Man, this is the third time the Jets have scored 30, the second time they've scored 40. The Colts defense is a Travis mockery, but Sam Darnold took advantage of it, and I give him a ton of credit. This is now consecutive, really solid games by the rookie quarterback for the Jets.
And he got some support by the defense early, playing at home. Sam Darnold, this is the kind of games that you expect from the young quarterback. This is their franchise quarterback. The Jets have improved so much, and they made the right decision by moving up to be able to get the kid from USC.
All right, big upset in Miami yesterday. Despite Brock Osweiler starting in place of Ryan Tannehill, Dolphins beat the Bears 31-28 in overtime behind 380 yards and 3 TDs from Osweiler. See, how impressed were you with the Dolphins?
Very impressed. We got to give Brock some credit. This is a guy who struggled with throwing the football. The relationship between him and Adam Gase, that's what I saw yesterday. You got to give Gase a lot of credit, bringing him there. He was on the staff in Denver with Elway when they drafted him, so he's got a lot of confidence in Brock's ability to be able to throw the ball, and we saw that yesterday.
And it sure seemed like maybe the heat, it was very hot in Miami yesterday, got to the Bears defense because it's late in the game. They were sluggish. Albert Wilson was running wild, but despite all that, they had an opportunity to win in overtime, and the rookie head coach, the Chicago Bears, inexplicably plays for a 54-yard field goal, 53-yard field goal. It's missed. This is a game the Bears at the end of the year are going to look back on, a game they should have won, they had won, and they gave away. Could cost them their division.
Moving on, Raiders and Seahawks played a spot of all over in London this weekend, and the Raiders got pummeled 27-3. Derek Carr had only 142 yards on 31 pass attempts. He was sacked 6 times. Raiders fall to 1-5. CC, what's gone so wrong for the Raiders this season?
Oh, what have they done right? What's gone so wrong? Oh, man, it's been bad. Ever since the initial press conference, John Gruden, all the excitement, 10-year deal. Whoa, really? Man, either John Gruden has forgotten a lot of football in broadcasting football, or the Raiders players are not nearly as good as I thought. This is a disaster. And I know Gruden. I looked at his face yesterday. He didn't look happy.
He didn't look happy.
He's not one who likes to lose.
And Derek Carr leading the league in dinks and dunks, something you don't want to lead the league in, and leading the league in turnovers. Don't want to lead the league in that either. And for those of you that know, Derek Carr signed a huge extension less than 2 years ago. Raiders can get out of that deal this summer. I think the Raiders are shopping for new everything. Turns out they're shopping Amari Cooper as well. I hope they do trade Cooper to a team that can use him properly, because I still think he can be a star in this league, and he's not exhibited it the last couple of years in Oakland.
All right, finally, let's talk about the Rams. They improved to 6-0, thanks in large part to Todd Gurley. Gurley rushed for a career-best 208 yards, 2 touchdowns in a 23-20 win over Denver. Gurley now leads the NFL in rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, yards from scrimmage, and total yards. He's good at football. Nick, what did you make of Gurley's performance?
He was the reason they won this football game. Jared Goff had his worst game of the season. Their passing attack wasn't great. The defense in the second half all of a sudden looked shaky, but they knew they could keep handing the ball off to Todd Gurley. There's a reason that I believe he is the best all-around running back in football. He's one of the most consistent forces in football, and he is what separates the Rams potentially if they continue on this pace from some of the other great offenses we've seen, because they have the best running back in football to go along with a dynamic passing attack. Not just a really good running back to go along with it, but maybe the best in football. They needed him yesterday because the passing attack wasn't there.
The game during the game with a knee injury. He came back in later on, but I think this will pay dividends not only for the Rams, for their roster, the coaching staff, but the psyche of Jared Goff. He's a guy, this is his first game that he's ever won with 20-degree temperature when they kicked off. Yep. A lot of snow before the game. So say, for instance, if they were able to, during his career, to have to go to a place like Washington, Chicago, Green Bay, in the playoffs or late in the season, he's a California kid. You want experiences like this where they can grind it out, rely on Todd Gurley, and Sean McVay does a good job of using Gurley just the appropriate amount of time. It's a cold weather game. I'm going to put the load on him, 200 yards rushing. You'll see other games he'll only have 14 or 15 rushing attempts. So I thought they used him very, very well, and I think that the overall confidence that they win this game in 20 degrees in Denver will pay dividends for them.
The Rams winning back-to-back weeks in Seattle, in Denver, after not leaving the state of California first month of the season. Obviously, the Rams hope they don't have to play any road playoff games, but no matter what they do in the regular season, week 14 of the regular season, they go to Chicago. That's a game in Chicago in December. To Steve's point about the weather, Jared Goff be able to pull on this experience to be a little more equipped for some potentially really bad conditions.
And the Rams are the last undefeated team left in the NFL. Let's move on to the big game last night. Patrick Mahomes and his undefeated Chiefs at the time against Tom Brady and those Patriots. Chiefs down 15 at the half. They take a 3-point lead in the fourth. Brady loves a challenge. 24 of 35, 340 yards and a rushing touchdown. Pats take the lead. Then over 3 minutes to go. Chiefs down 7. Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, 75-yard touchdown. Their third TD connection of the night. Brady's good at football. Finds his favorite target. That would be Rob Gronkowski. Gets the ball inside the 10. That would set up the Steven Gostkowski field goal as time expires. Patriots go on to beat the Kansas City Chiefs 43-40. Here is Tom Brady after the game.
Tough to slow those guys down. They've been scoring a lot of points all year. They're going to be pretty tough to stop. So glad we had our last shot and glad we took advantage of it.
Patriots needed everything they had last night to go on and beat the Chiefs. Did they prove that they are the best team in the AFC, see?
Well, I think Kansas City's more talented than them. They were able to win. Kansas City ran out of time in this game. New England played better than Kansas City, but to me, I think Kansas City's talent and the defensive additions that they're going to get back later in the year will really help this defense. That defense, that secondary, the lack of a pass rush outside of D Ford, there's no defensive coordinator. Bob Sutton, the defense coordinator in Kansas City, he did a marvelous job keeping them at 43 with the personnel that they had in this game. They get Justin Houston back. If you look at the pressure they generated in the second half without a whole bunch of talented players, Justin Houston will make a huge difference. They get Eric Berry back, the 75%, the player that he was. I believe those additions will have a bigger impact as we get to December than where New England is. Now, I do believe New England offensively, they will get a little bit better. I believe that Josh Gordon, the combination between him and Brady, will get a little bit better. So when Gronk is taken out of the game, they will have someone else to go to besides Edelman, who's a legitimate threat to the defense.
If this was who the Chiefs were going to be running out there on defense for the rest of the year, I would say you just can't win 3 or 4 playoff games with a defense like this. But they know they have Justin Houston coming back. They believe they have Eric Berry coming back. I believe they need both of those guys back for this Chiefs team to have just an adequate enough defense to win multiple playoff games, because we know the offense is going to score. But in the playoffs, they're going to play a team like New England, maybe exactly New England, or Pittsburgh, or teams or Los Angeles Chargers, teams that have potent offenses. The Chiefs yesterday were without their top 3 safeties, 2 of their top 3 outside linebackers, and D Ford, their other outside linebackers, having his career neutralized to a degree. He needs Justin Houston opposite him so that the opposing team kind of has to pick their poison there. But where you have to be incredibly encouraged by the Chiefs is down 15 in New England, that's game over 99% of the time. They were able to come back and tie this game. Pat Mahomes, after the worst first half of his career, had statistically the best second half of his career. And if these two teams do play again, I don't anticipate the Pats will be able to go 0 penalties, 0 punts. But what I know will be the case is Chiefs guys will be just as fast. Like, the one thing the Patriots don't have an answer for defensively is the outstanding speed of the Chiefs skill position guys, even though they were able to neutralize Travis Kelce.
If there was a game that might be a situation where the moment was too big for a guy like Patrick Mahomes, it would be at Gillette against the Patriots when they're clicking on all cylinders. It didn't seem like last night the moment got too big for Patrick Mahomes. He came in the second half down, trailing, mounted a comeback, and was right there at the very end. What did you see from
the second half? Was tremendous. The first half of the game was moving a gear or two faster than him. He was trying to force the ball, not as efficient. And also, New England putting points on the board, they rush you. They make you play at a pace that you're not comfortable with. So even Patty Mahomes in this explosive offense, I thought, in the first 30 minutes of the game, and I believe the biggest indicator of that was forcing the ball before halftime, making that interception, and not getting any points on first down where he didn't have to force it. 18 seconds left in the game, first and 10, like, you don't have to force that ball in there. End up getting a turnover, didn't get those 3 points, and they were getting the opening second half kickoff, which they ultimately came out and scored on. So that right there, I thought, was a huge difference in the game in the second half. Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, they got everything settled down, got them in some great looks, and they were able to make those big plays and make a lot of third down conversions.
Kareem Hunt had a huge game on catching and rushing the football. The Chiefs offense, listen, early in the game, even before the end of the first half, they were coming away field goals. They were 3-3-3 early in the game on red zone trips. That's a killer in a game where the total in Vegas is 60 points. You know you need touchdowns. Patriots knew they were going to have to score early. It's why they went for a fourth down on the first drive of the game, because it looked like this was a game where you're going to have to score touchdowns. The end of the first half was the killer. I know on the broadcast, Chris Collins was saying this is a spot where you've got to get 7. I feel like the Chiefs carry themselves with enough confidence offensively that if you're down 12 at halftime, which is what they would have been down with a field goal, knowing they get the ball, because getting the ball is huge there. That's been the thing the Pats have done for years and years. They defer the opening kickoff. They try to time the end of the first half enough so they score at the end, get the ball back, score again. The Chiefs could have done that daily double to them. That interception was huge. Where I want to give the Pats a ton of credit is their best player than Brady's Rob Gronkowski. He had one catch with 4 minutes left in this football game. And then he made an enormous play on first down on a drive they went down and scored a touchdown, or I think they got a field goal on a 42-yard play. And then the single biggest play of the game that essentially ended.
Josh McDaniel late in the game, the first play that he ran, they ran an unbelievable play. They knew that Kansas City, because they had booked them, they knew what defense they were going to play in certain formations. They knew they would play bump and run on Rob Gronkowski. They had the left tackle block the defensive back, have Gronkowski slip out, and then they put Gronk in the slot where they knew if they ran a smash route on the outside, they could throw the fade on the for the slot to Gronk. So tremendous job by New England coaching at the end of the game, getting the type of looks and taking advantage of it.
We talked about the defense perhaps holding Kansas City back. Is there anything you saw in the Patriots game last night that concerned you?
Well, I mean, their defense did allow 40 as well. And, I mean, I thought they had a good game plan. I thought they did an excellent job neutralizing Travis Kelce. We talked on Friday, what are the Patriots going to try to take away? It was clear at least one of the things was Travis Kelce. They forced Pat Mahomes into a couple mistakes. One was just a bad decision. The other, he said he just didn't see Dante Hightower. Dante Hightower was in the middle of the field. He says he just didn't see him.
No, he didn't see him. He faked like he was going to blitz on the play action, and then Mahomes, he lost his eye because he went back where he thought the route. Anytime you're going to have play action strong and you half boot, you know a crossing route's coming from the other side. So the guy runs right into it. So that was a good defensive maneuver by Dante Hightower, and that's what we missed with New England's defense all of last year when he was injured.
But to answer your question, Jenna, the Pats deserve a ton of credit. This was an incredibly important game, even if they wouldn't say it. They won it. They won it by running the football 38 times for 175 yards. where the Pats would be concerned, if they were being honest, is they don't have any reinforcements coming, and the game was at home. The Chiefs were down, I think, their two most talented defensive players in Barry and Houston, and it's on the road. They don't play a good first half. They don't force a punt.
And they're still right there.
And they're tied 40 apiece with 2 minutes left. I think the Chiefs leave this game feeling like we can play better. I don't know that the Pats can play much better, and the Pats don't have key personnel coming back later in the year for a potential rematch.
All right, we got to take a break. Coming up, how did the Cowboys offense explode against the Jags defense? That's next on First Things First.
Gold easily. Obviously. Their secret weapon.
Jamming on the one.